All right, today we're diving into a book with a philosophy that is, well, it's so radical it pretty much feels like a slap in the face. I mean, it claims your past is totally irrelevant, that what other people think of you is literally none of your business, and get this, that your unhappiness is a choice you are actively making right now. Sound insane? Maybe a little offensive? Good. Let's get into it.
And I know what you're probably thinking, because I thought the exact same thing. Easy for you to say. It sounds so dismissive to someone who's actually going through it, right? But stick with me here. This is not some fluffy New Age platitude. This is actually a core principle from a school of thought that stands right up there with Freud and Jung, even though most of us have never even heard of it. Yeah, this all comes from the work of a guy named Alfred Adler, one of the three giants of psychology. And his entire philosophy, man, it's like a direct assault on this idea we all have that we're somehow prisoners of our past.
So, you could say this is basically the fundamental battle for your life story. On one side, you've got Freud's way of thinking. It's called etiology, the study of causes. It says your past, your trauma, your upbringing, all that stuff is the cause, and your life right now is the effect. Simple. You're just a product of what's happened to you. But then Adler's psychology comes along and just completely flips the script with something called teleology. The idea here is that we are not pushed from behind by past causes. No. Instead, we are pulled forward by future goals. And these are goals we set for ourselves whether we even realize we're doing it or not. Now, let's be super clear. Teleology is not about denying what happened to you. It's not saying, oh, that bad thing didn't happen. It's about denying that those experiences get the final say. Adler's whole point is that the power isn't in the event itself. The power is in the meaning you choose to give it. A meaning that serves a purpose you have right now. And that right there is the core of this whole thing. You are not just some passive character in your own story. You're the one writing it. You are the active creator of your reality. And by the time we're done here, you're going to see how this one little shift in perspective, it isn't just some nice philosophical idea. It's the literal key to unlocking a life that's actually lived on your own terms. Okay, I get it. That all sounds great in theory, right? But how does this actually work in the real world? It feels kind of abstract. But trust me, it's brutally practical. Let's start with an emotion we have all used as an excuse at some point: anger. So just picture this. You're in a cafe, a waiter accidentally spills hot coffee on you. The Freudian explanation is obvious, right? The spill caused your anger, cause and effect. But Adler's teleology asks a totally different question. What was your goal in that moment? And the answer is probably to make the waiter submit and fix this mess, like right now. So you manufactured the emotion of anger as a tool to get that done. Think about it. You didn't lose control. You used anger. It was a shortcut. You could have calmly explained the situation, but shouting probably seemed way more efficient at the time. You chose the tool that you thought would work best for the job.
And this same logic, it doesn't just apply to getting angry at a waiter. It extends to much deeper, much more painful issues. Let's take social anxiety. The book talks about a young man who is so anxious he can't even leave his room. Now, the old way of thinking would be to dig into his past, looking for a cause, right? Was he bullied? Was there some trauma? But teleology, it forces us to ask a much more uncomfortable question. What is the goal of not leaving the room? And if you're honest, the goal might be to avoid any risk of being judged or rejected. Maybe it's to sidestep failure entirely. It could even be to keep his parents' worried attention focused solely on him. Suddenly, the anxiety isn't the cause. It's the perfect, tailor-made tool he's using to achieve those goals.
Okay, so if you're still with me after that, buckle up, because we're about to take this to a whole new level. This is where Adler drops what is maybe his most profound and definitely his most challenging claim of all. I want you to really think about this for a second. If you were the only living being in the entire universe, would you feel inferior? Would you be lonely? Would you be self-conscious about how you look? No way, right? Of course not. All of those feelings, what we call our problems, they can only exist in one context, in relation to other people. They are literally born from comparison and the fear of judgment. So why do our relationships cause us so much pain? Adler argues it's because, deep down, most of us have adopted a worldview that sees life as one giant competition. And if life's a competition, what does that make everyone else? They're your rivals. They're your enemies. Their success feels like your failure. Their happiness just becomes another reason for you to be jealous. And you realize this mindset isn't a path to winning anything. It's a prison of constant fear and insecurity. The way out of this prison, it's not complicated, but it is radical. You have to make a conscious choice to step off the battlefield.
Just get off the competitive playing field entirely. The moment you stop seeing people as rivals you have to beat and start seeing them as comrades, just walking alongside you on this journey, everything changes. You can actually genuinely celebrate their happiness because it's no longer a threat to yours. So let's recap. If our past doesn't actually define us, and if our problems really just come from this competitive mindset that we can choose to ditch, then what is actually stopping us from being happy? What's the real roadblock?
Well, according to Adler, it all boils down to one simple and kind of brutal truth: courage. Here's the thing. It is actually easier to stay unhappy. I know that sounds crazy, but it's familiar, isn't it? You know the landscape of your own misery. You know how to navigate your flaws and your problems because you've lived with them for so long. It's comfortable. But choosing to be happy, that means choosing a whole new way of life, and that is terrifying. It means stepping into the complete unknown. And maybe toughest of all, it demands the courage to disappoint the people around you who kind of benefit from you staying exactly the way you are.
And that brings us to the core message of the whole book. This is the price of admission for a truly free life. You have to have the courage to be disliked. Think about it. If you spend your whole life trying to make sure everyone likes you, you're not living for yourself. You're living to satisfy their expectations. So being disliked by someone, that's not a failure. It's proof, it's evidence that you are finally exercising your own freedom and living by your own rules.
So, where do we even start with all this? How do we begin to live with this kind of courage? Adler's answer is, you guessed it, beautifully simple. Focus on this very moment. Right here, right now.
See, your life isn't one long, continuous line where the past determines the future. It's just a series of dots, a collection of moments. The past, it's gone. The future hasn't happened. The only thing you have any real power over is this dot, this moment, the here and now. You have the power, in this exact moment, to choose a new lifestyle, to see people as comrades, not competitors, and to just be happy. You don't need to overcome your past. You just need to decide that it's irrelevant to the choice you are making today.
And in the end, this whole philosophy isn't that complicated. The world is simple. Life is simple. It's us. We're the ones who make it complicated. We spend these intricate webs of past trauma and excuses and all this competition that makes everything feel so damn hard. Untangling that web, it's not about being smarter. It's about being braver. It's a matter of courage.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to carry with you today. What is one thing you would do, one decision you'd make, maybe one word you would finally say if you truly, genuinely had the courage to be disliked? Really think about it, because your answer, that's where your freedom begins.
That wraps up today's review. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. See you next time.